All right. So today the plan is to make a beaver. I'm going to try to draw the beaver on all faces so that I can have a better idea of where I'm going with it. I've pulled up a picture of a beaver on my phone over there, so if you see me reaching that way, that's the reason. I think I'm just going to bring up the sound a little bit. It seems so. All right. So I don't want to spend too much time messing around trying to do the legs of the beaver. So I'm going to make it mostly lying down to try to make my job a little bit easier. So let's see, the tail is here. So that would be the tail. Then oh boy, I did it a bit. That's definitely not the shape I wanted to make here, but here. Okay. That means that now I'm just going to transfer the lines, the critical lines, to the other faces so that I can bring them, do the drawing on the other faces that matches this face. That felt like that had been the problem with my previous chicken sculpture, is that I didn't have the whole shape in mind from the very beginning, from the very first cuts. So my idea for making it better is to simply draw all the faces from the get-go. I don't have a really good view of what I'm doing, though. My the square I found in my house was quite a bit bigger than I realized compared to the block of wood I chose, which is a square block that is 1 inch by 1 inch, and and its length I already cut it because last time with the chicken my desk is not made for cutting, so I just guesstimated the size I would want the chicken the beaver to have, and cut it from that. I'm thinking that for this sculpture, that this carving, I want to keep the tail for last because it's very thin. I feel like if I try to cut it all the way and then go all the way to the tail, I'm at risk of just breaking the tail before I'm done. So I think I'm still going to prepare the legs. So I'm going to have to carry more lines forward. Though, not necessarily. I'll see. So for now, the tail would be like... No, I'm going to start by trying to... So doing it on the top there, I think I just won't draw the tail on this face, because it's the top face is the furthest away from the tail, so it making myself a mark there of what the tail looks like will just confuse me and make me waste time, I think. So but I'm going to draw it at the bottom. I think that's fine. For this face, the importance is like... From this face, it's the... Well, I don't think I need to draw on the top at all, maybe. No, I do need to keep it in mind for this part, so the body will be like this, I guess. Maybe thinner here. Who knows? And then the head like that, I think. That's a very bad head shape, but it's... This initial drawing will be lost as I cut, so it's not that dramatic, I think, if I lose it. If I... So here, the tail. The tail will be like... very wide. Yeah, around that. And then the same body shape about the head. Now I know it's not the exact same shape on each side I've made, but I think it's going to be close enough that it ultimately won't matter even through the carving process. Well, yeah, this will be fine. So I think I'm just going to carry the bottom of the beaver to the other side so that I can draw it on the same plane. I'm going to use this other surface, it's more straight from the beginning. Wow, that's... On the small side, it was really hard to carry the line. And it will still be hard. Alright, the thin side is giving me trouble. So now the tail. That's the tail. The body goes up to here, I think. And does a smoother-ish curve before going to the head. And then there are the legs that I do at the end. And so the face would be about here-ish. That size. Nose, eyes, teeth. So this is my rough drawing. And from that, I should... What I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove all the in between the lines, which will give me a rough shape from the get-go. That is going to be easier to follow and to then improvise the rest of the sculpture from. So... Oh, the glove. I was forgetting the glove. Don't want to hurt my hands. That would be very bad. So I'm going to go right up to the line. Both sides. Is it really easier? I think so. I have to try. When I was editing the video for the chicken commentary, that's what I thought would be easier. So I have to try it to see if my theory is correct. Yeah, correctly framed. Only when editing the chicken video did I notice that I was really, really out of focus for the almost the entire video. It was quite something. So here I can be more brutal. It's really windy outside right now, so there at the moment I'm filming this, so there's a. It's possible you'll hear the wind, and there might be a power outage. Let's hope not, but if the video ends abruptly, that's a reason. The idea I'm using, the reason I believe the method I'm using is easier, is that I'm from the very beginning getting a better sense of the outline of what I'm trying to carve, since I'm kind of immortalizing my first instincts on that. But for that, I would have to not go over the lines quite as much as I did on this side. But wow, that's very not what I wanted to do on this side. But oh well, it'll be fixed later, I hope. Wow. So far, I really like this method. It feels like I'm getting a good shape already. It's not, well, it's not nearly beaver-ish right now, but it feels already better than when I tried to make the chicken with the other technique of trying to do just one face at a time. One other problem I might see with the way I'm doing things right now is I'm doing detail work almost. It's almost detail work, but I'm not even working on something that's going to be this actually visible. It's almost like, yes, I've started cutting, but I'm still in the prep work. So it might be actually making the process longer than it should be, but if the result's better, I think it's worth it. So now I think I'm going to connect those lines to start making the shape of the head. And then once the head, I'm going to connect these lines with these lines, which is going to make me a shape that is close to the final shape the final shape of the head, I think. Though I made it way too big on this side. It's more like this. It's a longer prep time, but it feels much more productive. So if you're looking from the live stream right now, you might be experiencing buffering. That's what it has to be right now. I think my internet connection is being weakened by the storm outside. So sorry about that. I can't really do much about it. If when I edit, I know if when I look at it right when it's done, when the video is done, the live stream's over. I mean, I'm going to watch the replay, and if what YouTube has kept is as a lot of annoying buffer, I'm just going to use the as I'm streaming and recording at the same time to make the not the cost, but the time needed to have because to edit a YouTube video just on YouTube, I'd have to download the video after it has ended processing for YouTube, which is kind of a long time, especially for live streams like this. But if I record it on my computer at the same time, the moment the stream is over, I can start thinking about trying to edit it, which is which simplifies and shortens the lead time on me being able to edit it. What's making that noise? Is it this? So right now it doesn't look anything close to a beaver, but I keep hope still. Oh, this is going to be annoying. Okay. So now I'm going to try to connect the back to where the hand is. To have the full curve of it and part of the body. I'm kind of losing confidence that I'll end up with a beaver by the end of this, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's... Now I'm kind of just making a stump. I'm going to round the edge. Make it more beaver-like. Alright. I'm going to remove part of this side because right now it's just a stump and it annoys me. So I'm going to do a bit of the back. Trying not to cut myself while dropping everything. Trying not to be stupid. Here I can afford to make really big cuts because the shape I want is far down. It's hard to say how bad the buffering is. I don't have a very good view. I can't just be watching the replay footage as it happens to try and see where the buffering is. I kind of, because I do need to focus on what I'm doing, to not cut myself, to not break what I'm trying to do. So I don't know how bad it is. And I likely never will. At least not as I'm sculpting. But is it just for the error? YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. But maybe the video it receives is enough so that there's not buffering for when it's going to be a replay of the live stream. I don't know. That would be weird. That was one cut too many. Sorry for the sound just now. My pencil hits the microphone arm when I go to pick it. When I go to pick it up, it's. I'm just going to be have to be. I'm just going to have to be more careful about it. So the body ends here, the head starts here. About just going to look again at my beaver pictures. Alright, it is. think this might end up being fine. Maybe not on the top. I think on the top I wanted the deeper. Yeah, it's pointier on that face. In that direction, it's a bit pointier. So I'm just going to sharpen it slightly. I don't want to go overboard, but there, that seems fine to me. Curve it a little bit. It's going to be a tiny face for this beaver. But beavers have tiny faces, so it's fine. It's just anatomically correct. I guess. I wanted to choose a beaver because I knew the tail would be a challenge, and that it was an animal that I'm much less familiar with, so that it would be, again, more challenging. So here it's clear that I'm going to do the curve. That's fine. But here, I think I want to remove this portion. To emphasize the head. Do I need to do that? I don't think I do need to do that. Images. Yeah, and this side is kind of smooth, but I do think I need to make a dent. So here I'm going to go to the same point I am on the other side. About there. Then I need to dent. I don't want to cut all the way through. Unless I do. Since I don't have as much ambition for this sculpture, it's not going to be my logo. It's not going to be front-facing at all, well, except the video, of course. I'm kind of a lot less stressed about the result. It's kind of freeing in a way. I do think this dent helps give it the proper shape. It separates the body and the head nicely. Now to connect the dents. I think I want to remove this portion now. right now I'm focusing. I said I was going to keep the tail for the end, but I think that doing the shape of the tail right now will help me a lot when I'm going to be doing the final shape of the body. So I'm just going to have to try to make it not too thin so that I can protect it. So right now the tail is way too thick, but I'm going to trim it down later, I think. And now I say trimming it. Now that I've done that, I can go to the side and start surrounding the back. With the chicken, one of the problems I had is that the block was big. So there was a lot of stuff to remove, and and that made it harder. Now, with this, the problem is that it's a little bit too small, so it's kind of hard to grip it without having at least one. Because right now, this finger is kind of vulnerable if I were to force a lot and then the knife would slip and it would go here. So I had to be a bit more conservative in my cuts than I could afford to when it was a chicken and the block was big and all my fingers were always far away from where it was theoretically possible for them to be hit by the blade. So something to keep in mind when choosing the material, I guess. I'm probably going to stick to those smaller bits of wood until I'm more used to it, because it was really exhausting doing the 2" by 2" block to make the chicken. But with this, already it's been close to an hour, and I've already feel good about the shape I have. It's not as intense of a process before having a decent shape than it was with the chicken. Like by the end of the first 2 hours, 2 and almost 3 hour stream, I was not nearly, well, no, I had a decent shape, but it definitely was not finished then. But now, with time to spare, I'm comfortable saying that's going to be a nice sculpture. It's not nearly as stressful, and well, also I definitely won't have to make a second stream to finish this piece, which was something that annoyed me greatly with the chicken. It kind of threw off the schedule I wanted to stick to for the first week, and made the editing a lot harder because, well, there was a lot more footage to go through. I think. Oh, I'm forgetting the legs. I wanted to make the shape of the legs a bit here. I think it's not lost. No, I don't. I'm going to have to see when I'm closer to the end. I think I might have lost my opportunity to make legs. maybe not. Well, this is still smooth. I could do the back leg, the back legs at least. But is it really important? Well, the wings on the chicken did bring it all together, so the legs could have a similar impact. And I do think it could fit, so this would be the thigh. Yeah, about there. And then the front leg. I'm just going to go back to the picture I had. The front leg is more of a... I don't think I have the room for the front leg. Unless it's going to be a weirdly shaped beaver, but still going to be a beaver. Like this, and then... Okay, it look a little bit goofy, but I guess that's going to be my brand for the time being. A little good goofiness has never been above me. That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say I've never been above a little goofiness. I'm mixing up my sayings. So I need to carefully remove in between those two lines. I don't want to go too deep. I want to go deep enough that it's noticeable that there are outlines of legs, but I don't want to go too deep and then it messes up the fairly decent body shape I already had for the rest of the beaver. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's not terrible. I'm going to try to just clean up the splinters and... So far, it's not nearly as impactful as the chicken's wings were, but I think it's still better than not having tried to do them. That's fine. the profiles are much better than the tops. It's much closer to the shape I want when I look at the side than when I look at the top. But I think I'm as close to the general shape as I'm going to be able to get. With my current, with what I've done so far. I'm able to get a bit of a deeper back, but that. I think I forgot about the ears. Yeah, I forgot about the ears. That would be like here. So this would be one of the ear, the other ear. The eyes would be kind of here. And then the nose, the mouth with two big tooth. So I need to remove some material here to make at least a suggestion of the ears. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the ear much more than just a bit of a bump where I've marked the ears. Just not skill enough of that, I think. I just want to remove this part here. Those ears are going to be just so fragile. So minuscule. those ears are barely noticeable because because I know I just made them, but they kind of disappear in the decor. To make the ears a bit more noticeable, I'm trying to lower this portion of the back a bit. I'm hoping that the transition from the back to the head that's smooth with the ears more would make the ear a bit more predominant. I guess is the word I was looking for. Sorry for my coughing. I'm slightly sick. I'm not really sick. I just have a throat ache. Trying to form the nose. Bring the mouth nearby. That's a decent nose shape, I think. Still going to try to perfect it a bit before trying to make the teeth. Alright, I think I shouldn't touch it more before it starts looking ridiculous. Sorry about that. Alright, I guess I'm not going to make teeth. I'm just going to try to smooth out the place where I tried to make the teeth. I just realized that I mean, of course, the teeth aren't just beneath the. It kind of I ruined the profile. The top and well, it will be placed down there, so it won't be quite as noticeable, but it's a bit annoying. Where? Oh. Yeah, I was too focused on the cartoon Beaver. I didn't realize that the teeth aren't that visible, it seems, when looking at those pictures I have of beavers. So I guess I'm going to finish the tail, and it's going to be that for today. So around to round the end of this. If I can. This doesn't look round at all. I do think that the method I was trying today worked better than the one I'd used last week for the chicken, but I still have problem with properly planning the more complex geometries of what my subject is. Like, yes, I planned for the head, but I forgot the ear. I planned for the tail, but I planned for the legs, but I forgot them midway through. And I think there's also an issue of knowing my like, yes, I do like beavers, but I don't. I think I should be more, have more references, because, well, I hadn't initially planning on doing legs at all. But when I was looking at the reference image, I noticed the legs and I thought, these look like fairly simple legs, so I tried to add them. But since they weren't part of my very first plan, I forgot them fairly quickly within the process, which wasn't ideal. And then I just never. It was just only near the end that I started thinking, oh, wait, where am I going to put the ear? Oh, wait, where am I going to put the teeth and the mouth? And it ended up being a problem because, well, now I don't have any mouth or teeth. It's just and the profile is somewhat not ruined. Ruined is way too harsh a word for the result I have, but especially since it's going to be on a tablet, it's going to be on a shelf somewhere. It won't be very noticeable. It's very small, but I know the mistake I did, and it's still going to be a bit annoying. But that's the point of trying to improve. So I think I'll need to not necessarily write myself a plan. That's kind of very, very overkill. But maybe because I knew from Wednesday, I think, I knew I wanted to make a beaver, but I hadn't looked at reference images of beavers until, well, no, I looked a bit when I was doing the thumbnail, but other than that, I didn't really look, really think about what the implications of trying to make a beaver, to carve a beaver were. And so when it was time to draw all faces today, I was a bit out of my depth. I think next time I'm going to have to plan, well, that before, in the days leading up to the stream, I should look closely at whatever I decide that I want to try to sculpt, and really think about, okay, for this thing I'm going to start with that part and then that part, but I still have to be careful to leave me room for that thing. So it's because even with the chicken I had a bit of that problem. It was the planning of the red stuff over the head, the wattle. What I have wattle in, that's the word I have in mind, but I don't know if it's the correct word. So I kind of, at that point, I've forgotten to leave myself room for that, so it was harder than I'd anticipated. Looking for the proper shaping. It was harder because I didn't leave myself room for that. And today when I made the nose, I carved away a bit of where I was intending of putting the teeth. It was a wrong place for teeth, but it was where I intended to put it. So when I tried to put the teeth, it was a wrong shape and it looked bad. And then I could have tried to leave the teeth, but I didn't like them, so I removed them. But because I removed them, now there is a weird gap here. Well, weird to me. I don't know. How it looks to you, but to me it looks weird. Very weird. I think that's basically as thin as I'm going to be willing to make it. Maybe the front part here can be thinner, but I don't want it to be too thin. I stay thinning it again and again. I think I'm going to soften the edge here. It's kind of it broke. Okay, it's kind of too sharp for my liking. There it looks not more natural, but slightly better to me, at least. Alright, I think I'm going to be happy with that. Do I try to put little eyes? I think I can do small holes here. Remove just a bit. I think that's supposed to be the job of this knife, to make indents for detail. Yeah, that is an eye. They don't pick up on the camera, but oh, that's too bright for this. It's not as clean as I would have liked it to be, but I think if I keep going, it's going to be looking less and less like a beaver until I have just a mysterious creature, which could be fine, but that's not the point here. Alright, I have to stop touching it. This is it. A small beaver. Not perfect, not exactly how I wanted it to be, but much, much better than nothing. And that's the whole point of this channel, to put me into the habit of doing things and practicing often. So this is going to be it for today. I'm going to be publishing the commentary later this week, maybe tomorrow if I have time. I don't know exactly when, but soon. So have a nice day, and goodbye.